The work KAB has done with missing in Kansas is bringing national awareness to a worldwide epidemic. But the change still starts here, in Kansas. If you know of a missing person story, submit it today on KAB.com/missing. Missing in Kansas, with reports every weekday, only on KAB.
We had tried to keep this quiet and just keep working investigations because we didn't want to upset families.
Right.
And until we absolutely have an answer of finding a body or finding evidence. The reality is everything blew up when they dug up the yard.
It's these images that flipped yet another page in Carrie Rawson's story. This summer and spring, investigators digging into her family's old property over in Park City, trying to tie her dad, Dennis Rader, to cold cases. Mysteries like Cindy Kinney, a teenager who simply vanished from Oklahoma in the 70s. Rader was working nearby.
Kinney was abducted from a laundromat in Pawhuska, and I was like, that doesn't match my dad at all, right? Because my dad did home invasions. All of his 7 crime scenes, 10 cases, they're all home invasions. You know, and there were 2 that he switched the MO by our house, and he did it because they were by our house, but still, they're still home invasions. And I was like, I don't think that was Dad.
However, a sheriff from Oklahoma thinks otherwise. Re-examining an old journal of Rader's, he titles one entry, Bad Wash Day, writing, "The brunette was the target. I would watch the nearby laundromat for possible victim. The question, is this writing coming from fact or fantasy?" Rader claims he had attempted kidnappings before his first known victims, the Otero family. Julie, Joseph, and their kids 9-year-old Joey and 11-year-old Josie, they died in January 1974. Down in Oklahoma, the 16-year-old Cindy was last seen 2 years after that, directly across the street from where Rader was on the job.
He talks about attempted kidnappings other times. And so if you really start digging in there, there's so many concerns.
It's a tough reality for Carrie. Writing a memoir a few years ago, facing the headline that has taken over her life, she is a serial killer's daughter. Her dad admitted to the deaths of 10 people, but are there more? That's what's brought her back to the heartland several times this year. Detectives driving her to different places, like over in Missouri, and a moment she did not expect.
And we were driving, and we came upon this small creek, and it was flowing pretty good, and it has white shell rock all around it. And I go, wait, stop. I said, we fished here. I think I literally have a photo of me fishing there around 4. Now it could be somewhere else, but it's that really bright white shell rock, and it looks exactly like there. And I said, wait, I know I have fished this stream. And I said, that's not good. And then they go, okay, well, just wait a second. And they drive about another couple blocks, half a mile, and they turn on this old country road that's steep. And I go, I know this road. And then that's where I got real sick again. And I shouldn't know that road, right? It doesn't make any sense. And then we drive just up a little bit and they're like, this is where Shauna was dumped.
A plot twist. Some believe her dad is responsible for the murder of Shauna Garber. The 22-year-old's body was found in the winter of 1990. She was raped, strangled, and restrained, fitting that BTK MO, bind, torture, kill. Shauna's remains were discovered not far from where Carrie says her family would visit when she was little.
When that became familiar to you, what was your feeling?
I was like not well, but I also was like, we have a dad problem. That's what I've been calling him internally.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have a dad problem. Like, you're looking at the bondage, or you're looking at the drawings, or you're matching these things, or you're like seeing a creek that you fished at that's around the corner from where a body was dumped. And you're like, okay, that's a bad dad fact. And so those are adding up.
Yet Carrie is determined to know the truth and make sure nothing was missed. Not just for her, but for all the families involved. She's been visiting prison to help with the investigations, to speak with a man she has not seen in nearly 20 years.
And now all of a sudden, it's like everything has just sort of come to this peak moment of where it was like, I'm strong enough, capable enough, I can go help.
Sitting across the table from her dad, a new chapter. A once tall, strong man is declining. No teeth, legs wrapped up, in handcuffs, and a wheelchair. Quite the contrast of the controlling dad she once knew. At the same time, realizing the person across from him is also quite different, as she continues to write her story of survival.
Going in to see my dad, it's insane, but it's also really empowering because I get time with him. We're working on these investigations. You know, at times he's very difficult and I have to get him to focus. Other times he's cooperative. Like, I hug him, he kisses me on the cheek, I say goodbye, he's in shackles, he's in a wheelchair. Like, he's tiny, he's like lost like 9 inches. It's really hard to see him. I get to choose when I go see him again, and I get to choose. And so it's like I've now taken control over that man that was in my house. You know, like, I'm the person that's tall now, I'm the person that can walk, I'm the person that's literally like in charge.
Two days and counting. People in one small Kansas town are very worried for the 2 women who went missing over the weekend. Here's KAB's Annette Lawless with today's Missing in Kansas.
Multiple agencies are involved with this search for 27-year-old Veronica Butler, shown here on the left, and then we have 39-year-old Jillian Kelly on the right. Now, both of these ladies from the Hugoton area, so far southwest Kansas, they were heading to pick up Veronica's kids on Saturday morning, never to be seen or heard from again. We know their vehicle was found abandoned in this rural area, and that is near Highway 95 and Road L, about 50 miles southwest of town in the state of Oklahoma. Agencies working this case, also the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation taking the lead.
You know, we're calling this a suspicious disappearance because as soon as you find a vehicle in the middle of really nowhere that you know was occupied by 2 women, and then those 2 women have really vanished. It's concerning for us as well. So we're really trying to figure out what may have happened and doing everything we can to find them.
It's got to mean a lot to the people who are certainly involved, people from their families, their churches. Just our hearts certainly go out to those people and the law enforcement too, who are working so hard. I assume boots kind of on the ground. Is there anything in the air for these searches and all that with like the State Highway Patrol and all that too?
Yes, there's all different kinds of searches. The technology that we're able to equip ourselves with, it's all being used within that entire area. Now, again, what makes it difficult is this is a very rural area, like we had mentioned. But I mean, we're talking about people who are on the ground looking. possibly drones, anything that we can use, that we can get our hands on to kind of just make sure that all of that surrounding area is being looked at as closely as it possibly can.
You can catch my full interview with the OSBI at KAB.com/missing, and that's where you will continue to see new information on this search. As detectives work this case, they are asking for anyone with tips to come forward. You can leave information with the OSBI at 800-522-8017. You can send those details anonymously as well. Reporting in the studio, Annette Lawless, KAB News on your side. And with breaking news here at KAB, the FBI and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations are providing an update on 2 missing women from Hugoton.
And right now we're going to join that news conference live. Let's listen.
He's going to have an opportunity. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we just heard from Hunter McKee with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, an update on the developing story of 2 women missing from southwest Kansas. Now, they say that from all the different law enforcement agencies involved, they want justice to be served, but they could not confirm that the bodies that were found this weekend in Texas County, Oklahoma, were of the women that were missing.
Yeah, no confirmation there, but the OSBI director did say this case did not end how we hoped it would when referencing the 2 women that they were investigating. Another official sending her condolences to the families, naming them by name. So obviously tight-lipped investigation, not wanting to jeopardize that investigation at all right now. Right. And there is some new information, apparently unsealed documents available at the courthouse. So that's something that we'll be tracking down today.
We're working to get that, but we can tell you that 4 people were booked and they were arrested this weekend, and they were arrested on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in this ongoing situation down in Oklahoma. So we'll keep you posted on everything. We'll have more information, of course, that we're gathering right now, and we'll share those updates on KAB News at 11, as well as throughout the day here on KAB.
That's right. Much more to come. Thanks so much for joining us here for this KAB News breaking news special update, and we'll have you returned to The View at this time.
We start with a missing in Kansas update.
I was just calling to let you know that we have really good news. Johnny came home. So we can take him off the missing person thing so that you guys can focus on other people. And I just wanted to tell you, I really appreciated everything you did and putting the story out there. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
You're listening to a voicemail from a mom of a young man we have featured here on Missing in Kansas, sharing the positive with us today that her son, Johnny Turner, who was last seen a few weeks ago here in Wichita, he's now safe. Now, we don't always get a moment to literally hear from those families about these positive outcomes due to privacy, but I spoke with Johnny's mom. She says she is happy with us sharing her message, letting us all know that what we're doing here, it really matters. And your help by sharing these stories, it leads to such good outcomes in a lot of cases. His family, they were worried, and now they can move forward knowing that he is okay. You've helped so many different families across our state with Missing in Kansas. I just audited my books yesterday, looking at the people whom we've shared in the past 5 years with this series. We are now past 2,040 stories shared, though I'm certain that we're much more than that because of the things that we have reported to you all online. In fact, though, if you want to see these extra cases and updates in our series, be sure to follow me on Facebook at Annette Lawless, or look for Missing in Kansas on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as well. But in the meantime, we can use your help right now with tracking down this teen from Southeast Kansas. This is Demetric DeWitt. He is 15 years old, last seen on September 13th in Independence. He is 5'5", 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Advocates with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children tell me that he may travel about 30 miles northeast of there over to Parsons, Kansas. So we'd appreciate if you could help us keep an eye on him as you have before. Anyone who has info as to where he is, contact Independence Police at 620-332-1700. You can also leave a tip anonymously, and I explain how to do that with his story over at KAB.com/missing.